Hey guys, it is Wednesday here in West Virginia, and today we're taking a look at some Buick Regals from Revel, and we are also cracking open a Buick Regal from M2 Machines. It's a Miho exclusive, and it is a chase piece to top it off. We also have a Monte Carlo out here. As you can see in this picture here, there is the green Revel Regal and the green light 82 Monte Carlo LS that normally came with this Lowrider paint job and some chrome, like 15-inch, 16-inch wire wheels. But this one has been modified by my friend Gilbert Martinez, and he did the 63 Impala for me too that we took a look at a few weeks ago. I think we've already taken a look at this one and some shorts, but I don't think I did a full close-up video of this one. But anyways, we'll do that some other day. Today what we're trying to do is mainly unbox the M2 Regal and get an idea how it compares to Revel's Regal in size. Not really detail or anything like that, because I'm sure the Revel will win in a lot of aspects. I'm just trying to get an idea on how big they are to each other. So here's the M2. And as I mentioned, it is a Miho exclusive, and it is limited to only 5,500 and only 500 chase pieces. I went with the chase just because it looks super sweet with all this gold trim and gold pinstriping on it. Even the regular version is really cool because all the pinstriping is done in silver and all the trim and bumpers are in chrome. The interior, I think, is black on the regular version. So this one, actually, I don't know. I could have went for a two-tone interior instead of just all gold interior, but it's still not too bad. There's really nothing on the back of the box except where to find M&J, Miho exclusive, or Miho online, and where to find the M2 website and social media outlets. So anyways, let's get it out and take a look at it and such. I've already had it out. Obviously, the box was cut open on the back side, and there is a screw missing on the underside. So I did that so it could be quickly taken out. Now, under the hood is kind of disappointing. It lacks detail when it comes to like the gold stuff that you would expect for a lowrider, but that could always be detailed later with a gold marker or some gold model paint, something like that. And they have those gold plating pens that are like the chrome plating pens, the Molotov, or whatever they're called, Molotov, something like that. But yeah, they have gold ones too, so that would probably be a nice one to use doing some engine detail. Now, the reason I picked this car up, actually, there's a few reasons. Number one is that I've been after the black Revel Regal, and I cannot find it for a reasonable price. I want a mint one. I found some that were not mint, and they're still expensive and loose. But loose, I don't mind. I just need it to be mint. Actually, I bought my pink one loose, and it's perfect. It was an adult collector who had it in a display case since he opened it, and he barely used the adjustable suspension, so the car is like brand new. And these were originally in a plastic clamshell style pack. I prefer to buy those type of cars loose because that plastic, I really do believe, has an adverse effect on the paint of the car. I don't know if it traps moisture in or what happens, but I do not like buying sold cars that are more than 10 years old in a clamshell package. So anyways, back to this guy here. The chase features are, once again, all the gold trim, gold interior, gold base, and this base I've already removed the gas tank. If you haven't messed with one of these Regals yet, these are pretty simple to work with. The only thing is, unlike some of the other M2 cars, the rear screw is hidden under the gas tank. You have to pop the gas tank off to get to the rear screw. Besides that, it's pretty straightforward. 2 screws and it comes apart. Now, what I am going to do with this car is install a 3D printed base from a company called Diecast Mafia. They are located in Ontario, Canada, and I guess they do some really nice stuff. I mean, looking at his pictures, the stuff looks fabulous, and going from other people who have bought from him and built with his product have really nothing bad to say. The only thing that I did here is maybe I will have to grind a little bit on some bases or on some interior buckets to get it to fit perfectly. But outside of that, everything goes well. So I'm kind of excited, and we will do a how-to video on his bases once they get here. I ordered one for the Regal because it's pretty straightforward, screws and it comes apart. And then I ordered one for an Auto World 62 Impala because I have one. And I figured that would be the second attempt because I had to drill out the rivets and such. But he does make them for Greenlight 71 to 74 Cadillacs and Greenlight 63 and 4 Impalas, the Hot Wheels Nissan Hardbody, and the Johnny Lightning 65 Impala and 78 to 80 Monte Carlo. So there's a lot to choose from, and really I want to order a few more of them. I just wanted to try a couple before I went crazy because the shipping cost is a bad thing going from Canada to the US. Even for something light, it's like $20 or 15 to $20. So I would rather order like 5 or 6 bases at one time if I could. But as I said, I wanted to try them myself, even though most people that I've talked to that have used his products have no major complaints at all. They all have great things to say. So we'll be sure to do an install video on them and let you guys know how the install goes. So that is the reasons why I bought this Regal, because he makes a base for the M2 Regal, and I needed a black one. Although this car looks brown in some light, I guess it's just because of the hue from the gold or something like that. But yeah, it is black metallic. Maybe it's because it has so much metallic in it too. But anyways, yeah, this will probably turn out better than the Revel Buick Regal. Now, the bases that this guy uses are designed different than anybody else's. The Revels, as you know, have the U-shaped stuff. When I say U-shaped stuff, I mean there are one pin with 2 arms that go into a little, basically like recessed tube area underneath the engine here, and then the other end of this has 2 holes in it where you slide your axle through and put your wheels. That's why I say it's U-shaped, because the metal rod holds the 2 arms together on the bottom, and then you have the opening up here and your axle slides through and such. So that is the design on the Revels and such. And as you can see, all these Regals are really nicely done. Another thing that I wanted to figure out with this too is the size comparison. We'll take a look at it just in a moment. I just want to show you guys the suspension setups. And as we all know, Hot Wheels has a decent setup because it's very durable, very strong, and it works very well. It's very articulate. It can move pretty much in any way you want it to, but it looks a little ridiculous in some situations. As you can see, the front of this 53 Chevy, everything falls. It's like if the car was a subframe and you were dropping the subframe with the engine and transmission, because everything falls down. The back is okay because it looks pretty realistic, where it's just the dry shaft and the rear axle and a couple of the exhaust pipes or something sometimes. This one, however, is just part of the floor pan. So the rear looks really good. But the front looks a little bit too bulky and ugly. but it works very well. It's a lot more durable than the Revel stuff. But the Revel stuff, as I said, looks cleaner. Now, the design that my friend Gilbert came up with that he uses on his customs is very realistic and very clean looking. And it's the same setup that this guy uses on his bases. So this is the one from my friend Gilbert. As you can see, same thing as the Hot Wheels. It's on a pivot ball, but he put only the drive shaft on the pivot ball with the rear differential. That way there's no other components hanging down with it, so it looks a lot more realistic. Then in the front, each wheel is independent. As you can see, just like a real car would be, where you could drop the one wheel or drop both wheels if you wanted to. Now, the problem... Well, there isn't really no problem with this. It's just more realistic. So you don't have as much travel as you do with the other two. But it is more realistic because you don't have all that travel usually on a real car because of the fact that you only can go so far before you break a ball joint or throw out your coil spring. So anyways, this is the most realistic that you can get. And so anyways, the setup that the guy uses is very much the same as Gilbert's, except on his front end, he uses a A-arm, and that's even more realistic. And it's a single A-arm, and it has a hole in it, like a spindle, basically, where your axle slides through on each side, and your wheel slides on. So it's very cool setup. In the back is the same thing. It has a differential on a drive shaft, and it's on a pivot ball. And the A-arms have two attached areas on the frame. I guess they're pivot balls too, I'm guessing. Because it does look clean. It's just in the front of the chassis, it's very narrow. Basically, as wide as this engine area, and it has an A-frame coming out on each side, and they go up and down. So very straightforward, clean design. It doesn't look too cheap, but it's not overdone and detailed like this, where there's all detail for the frame, the exhaust, and all that. It is clean and straightforward. But anyways, now what I was kind of concerned about with the M2 Regal, and if I could have picked another Regal, I may have done so. Maybe the Johnny Lightning Racing Champions casting that they share. That casting is very nicely done, and I think it is true to scale. I think it matches up with the Revel pretty well, but I'm not sure. I've never had both side by side. Now, the M2 one, I was worried that would be a little bit big, and I was right, but it's not overkill like some of their cars are. So as you can see, here's the Revel one next to the M2 one. Yes, the M2 one is bigger by probably 1/8 of an inch in length and probably 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch in width. The roofs are similar in the width and the windshield too, but the just front ends and rear end parts are a little bit different. But when they're setting, as you can see, we'll put a few next to each other. We'll have the green one, the black one, then we'll throw the pink one over here. And especially when they're all setting in different stances for their hydraulics, well, and don't look too bad. The M2 does stick out a little bit just because I guess I pointed it out. But if they were all there and I wouldn't have told you which one's which and you're not familiar with the brands, then in most situations it would fit in perfectly in a diorama. It's not going to be that big of a difference. So it should work out pretty well. And these are different years, so trim and everything varies on the years of the Regal and such. As I mentioned, this one's based on an 87. These are based on 81s. So that's also a good reason why they may look different in some manners. But yeah, as I said, it is a little bigger, but that's the only car that he makes the chassis for. at the moment. Well, for a Regal. He does make them for Greenlight Cadillacs, Greenlight 63 and 4 Impalas. I believe a Johnny Lightning, like first gen G-body Monte Carlo. When I say first gen, it's the 78 to 80, the smaller G-body Monte. And then I think he makes it for the Johnny Lightning 65 Impala and the Auto World 62 Impala, which I did order a base for one of them because I already have one of them that's pretty much the same paint job as this guy. It's black with all gold trim, but it's not a chase piece. But I figured it would be a good one to try out for my second one, drilling out the rivets and putting it together and trying to tap the holes for some new screws and such. Yeah, I just wanted to keep it basic for the first try. And then if everything goes well, we'll be ordering a few more bases and doing a few more cars throughout the coming months. So hopefully we'll be doing some how-to videos here in the near future, as long as everything goes smoothly and my hands can stay steady enough to do the work, then we shouldn't have a problem. So pretty much that's what I wanted to get out there today, guys, is just look at the size of these cars next to each other and get the chase unboxed for you and such things like that. I didn't really want to do like a very in-depth, detailed look at the two cars. Maybe one day we'll do that along with like a Johnny Lightning Regal and such. That way we can have all of them here together and do the pros and cons on all of them. So that's it for today, guys. We'll be back again on Friday for our Free It Friday. And if you haven't done so, please give us a thumbs up and please subscribe and also turn on your notification bell, because I do a lot of spontaneous videos when we find new things or get new orders in and such. Sometimes they're not scheduled, like Mondays for Mopars or muscle cars and Friday for our Free It Friday unboxing. A lot of times we throw some other videos in the mix during the week, like for example today. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you again on Friday.